My John Deere 4240 was purchased new in the spring of 1981 and was used exclusively for field work each year until the fall of 1989, when I traded it for a John Deere 4455, a tractor that I still own to this day. What you are about to see is a collection of old VHS camcorder videos that were shot in that time frame and show what a typical day in the field was like for my faithful iron horse. In this video, I am pulling 24 feet of 1000 series John Deere field cultivator with Degelman mounted harrows. This operation is done in the springtime as the ground needs to be thoroughly worked before seeding can begin. What I am trying to achieve is a level seed bed with any and all weed growth destroyed. The cultivator shovels are set for approximately 2 inches of depth, and I am trying to keep my tractor speed at about 5 miles per hour. As soon as I would finish cultivating a field, I would hook onto my 20-foot John Deere 9350 double disc press drill and commence seeding. Each 10-foot section held about 18.5 bushels of grain, as well as 1,100 pounds of dry fertilizer. As can be plainly seen, the land is extremely dry on this lighter soil when this video was taken. But surprisingly, within a short time, we received some timely spring rains, and in the fall, we actually harvested a very reasonable durum wheat crop. With seeding completed, it wouldn't take long and I would start my summer-fall operations on the remainder of my land. This method of farming is no longer practiced today, and with the advent of zero tillage and continuous cropping, it has almost virtually disappeared. Keep in mind, when this video was taken, air seeders were still in their infancy. High clearance sprayers, heavy harrows, and vertical tillage implements were not even dreamed of. Self-propelled combines with straight tables were few and far between as well. Roundup herbicide, better known as glyphosate, was priced around $20 to $30 an acre, and wheat was selling for around $3 to $4 a bushel. Anhydrous ammonia may have been very cheap at that time to buy, but the applicators were crude at best and left a lot to be desired. Hence, the only option was to work the field, try to conserve some moisture, and keep it free of weeds at the same time. It was the only guarantee for a successful crop the following year. Once again, I am traveling at 5 miles per hour and pulling a 25-foot John Deere 1610 deep tillage, sometimes known also as a chisel plow. The tractor and implement were well matched, and the Degelman-mounted harrows were set to leave as much trash on the surface without dragging all the straw to the headlands at each end of the field. Not an easy task while trying to harrow out any of the stubborn weeds on the field at the same time. It is quite common to start thinking about next year once harvest is completed, and usually in early October I would consider putting a pre-emergent granular herbicide on some of my fields. Since my local grain buyer could supply me with the product I needed, as well as the small pull-type applicator as seen in this video, it just made total sense to get everything I needed from him and then spend a few days applying the herbicide onto the surface of my land. Because it is best to mix this herbicide into the top layer of soil as soon as possible after application, I enlisted the help of a good friend of mine who brought over his tractor and harrow bar and incorporated the product into the field. Some of you might know him better as Roosty 6, and yes, the Case 2090 you see in the background of this video is still on his farm and appears in many of his YouTube videos. A few days later, we worked together again as a team and used the same equipment to apply herbicide once more. Well, this time it was at his farm instead. In the summer of 1989, I purchased more farmland, and on this land were some large tracts of bush and prairie. I cleared this bushland with a crawler tractor, and afterwards I rented a small 8-foot Rome bush disc from a local neighbor. He had previously installed tractor weights onto the top of this small disc, and it certainly did an excellent job in cutting up sod, buckbrush, and tree roots. It may have been small, but the job it did was worth the extra time it took. As soon as this task was accomplished, I came back a few days later onto the same area and used my own John Deere 310 14-foot tandem disc to cut and chop whatever escaped the roam bush disc. What was most important, though, was for my disc to level the land and leave it ready to be seeded next spring. I hope you enjoyed watching these various segments of my iron horse hard at work earning its keep on my farm. If you didn't, well, I suppose you can always do what the Roman emperors did 2,000 years ago and give it a thumbs down. But I would much prefer you did the opposite. Either way, thanks for watching.